News Talk on Samar News, your go-to podcast for the latest headlines and in-depth discussions. Join us as we unravel the stories that matter most, bringing you insightful commentary and expert analysis. Tune in for a thought-provoking conversations that spark dialogue and inspire action. Stay connected with the news that shapes our world, only on News Talk on Samar News.
I want you to picture a room, not a tennis court, but a boardroom.
Right.
Let's say it's in Beaverton, Oregon, or maybe a high-rise in Manhattan. It's quiet, it's air-conditioned, and right there in the center of the table, there's a report.
And that report isn't just paper. It is essentially a crystal ball.
Exactly. It's the output of a billion-dollar predictive model. These sports giants, Nike, Adidas, Wilson, they don't just guess who the next superstar is. They have algorithms. They feed in bone density, serve speed, junior tournament results, Instagram engagement rates, even the GDP of the athlete's home country.
It's Moneyball on steroids. I mean, the whole goal is to remove risk. The model is designed to tell executives, if you put $1 million into this 14-year-old kid today, you will get $50 million back in 10 years.
It sounds perfect. It sounds foolproof. They have the scouts, they have the data, they have the history, and then there is a glitch in the matrix.
And by glitch, you don't mean a server outage. You mean a teenage girl from Quezon City.
We are talking about Alex Eala. And today on the Deep Dive, we aren't just breaking down her forehand. We're looking at how this one player completely shattered the predictive models of the world's biggest sports brands.
Yeah.
We're talking about a market failure that just ignored 600 million people and the absolute panic that set in when the industry realized they got it so wrong.
It really is a case study in corporate blindness. We've got reports on American sponsors scrambling to fix their mistake. We have the Osaka effect coming into play. And then we have this chaotic scene at the Australian Open that ended with Novak Djokovic. Well, basically rewriting the marketing playbook on live TV.
It is a wild story. So the mission today is to figure out how the smartest marketing minds in the world missed a market twice the size of the United States. And we need to answer the big question. Is this just a fleeting moment, or has the way global sports icons are made changed forever?
Well, to understand how they missed her, you really have to understand the machine. You have to understand the status quo.
Okay, let's unpack that, the old world, because I think most people assume sports sponsorship is just who's winning. If you win, you get paid.
That's the romantic view for sure. But the reality is much more cynical. For the last 30 years, the tennis industry has operated on a very rigid avatar.
An avatar.
Yeah, if you're a scout, you're looking for a specific type of asset.
So what does the safe bet look like to these algorithms?
Historically, tall, power hitter, big serve. And, let's be honest about the demographics here. Usually white, often Eastern European, American, or Western European.
So the Maria Sharapova model, or the classic American powerhouse.
Precisely. Think about it from a risk perspective. If you sponsor an American player, even if they aren't number one, you automatically get access to the world's biggest consumer economy.
Right.
If you sponsor a French or British player, you get the heritage brands, Rolex, Land Rover. It's just easy math. You find them at 14, you sign them cheap, and you build the brand before they even win a major.
It's an assembly line. You pour money in one end, you get a global icon at the other. So let's look at Alex Eala through the eyes of this algorithm. Why did it spit out a do not invest error?
Because she checks almost none of those boxes. Physically, she's not a 6-foot Amazonian server. She's petite. She's a lefty. She plays a scrappy, tactical game. But the biggest red flag for the algorithm was her passport.
The Philippines.
Right. And you have to understand, in the tennis world, Southeast Asia has historically been viewed as a data black hole.
Which is funny to me because Filipinos are obsessed with sports. But it's mostly basketball, right?
It is religiously a basketball country. You drive through Manila, there are makeshift hoops on every street corner.
Yeah.
Coconut trees acting as posts.
Yeah.
Tennis courts, not so much. Tennis is expensive. It requires land, maintenance, coaching. So the predictive model looks at the Philippines and sees low tennis infrastructure, no history of Grand Slam singles champions, and a populace that watches the NBA.
So the computer just says, no market here, move on.
Exactly. Even though Eala won the 2022 U.S. Open junior title, which is a huge deal, and even though she trains at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, standing shoulder to shoulder with the best European prospects.
She was literally standing right there, in the best academy in the world.
She was visible to the coaches, but, invisible to the checkbooks. The industry viewed her as a niche talent. The internal logic was, okay, she might crack the top 50. She'll be a nice local hero for the newspapers in Manila, but she won't move the needle globally.
Niche. That is such a dismissive word in business. It basically means cute but not profitable.
It means we don't think you can sell sneakers in Ohio. And this is where the Western-centric bias really blinded them. There is this arrogant assumption in global sports marketing that Asian markets are just passive consumers.
What do you mean by passive?
The belief is that Asian fans will just root for whoever's winning on TV.
Yeah.
That you don't need a Filipino star to sell tennis gear in the Philippines. You just need Serena Williams or Roger Federer. They assumed that winning transcends representation.
So they didn't think seeing someone who looks like me actually mattered to the bottom line.
They didn't think it was a multiplier. They thought it was a bonus. And they were very, very wrong.
And this brings us to the flashpoint, because eventually reality catches up to the model. Take us to the match where the glitch happened.
So this is just a classic case of underestimation. It's a WTA 500 event. This isn't Wimbledon. It's a regular tour stop. Alex Eala is ranked outside the top 100 at this point, and she's drawn against a former top 20 player.
So on paper, this is a scheduled loss, the algorithm says. She plays, she learns a lesson, she loses in straight sets, she goes home.
Correct. It's scheduled on outer court, no fanfare. The American broadcasters aren't even really covering it. If you were watching the main feed, you wouldn't even know it was happening.
Just background noise.
Until the first set goes to a tiebreak, and she wins it.
Okay, so she steals the set. Little surprise.
Right. Now, usually, for an early round match on a side court, the official streaming numbers are, negligible. We are talking maybe a few thousand people, mostly betting syndicates, coaches, and die-hard family members.
It's a ghost town digitally.
Suddenly, the engineers monitoring the server load for the WTA stream see a jump, then another jump, then a spike. The stream viewership rockets to over 200,000 live viewers.
Wait, pause. 200,000 for an early round match on a side court.
It's unheard of. That is more viewers than some finals get in smaller tournaments.
Right.
And it wasn't just the raw number that scared people. It was the location of the IP addresses.
Let me guess. It wasn't Ohio.
It was a digital tidal wave coming out of Southeast Asia. You had viewing parties erupting in bars in Manila. But here's the thing that really messed up the predictive models. It wasn't just the Philippines.
Oh.
Topics started trending in Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam.
Why the neighbors? I get the Philippines going crazy, but why is Vietnam tuning in?
Because it wasn't just Filipino pride anymore. It was regional validation. Southeast Asia is a region of over 600 million people, basically twice the population of the U.S., and they have had almost zero representation in elite singles tennis. Eala became the avatar for the whole region.
So while the American sponsors are asleep, 600 million people just woke up.
And the image that went viral? Eala closes out the match. She doesn't scream. She doesn't fall to her knees sobbing. She just clenches her fist. Quiet determination. That image traveled faster than any ad campaign Nike ever ran.
I can only imagine the panic happening in the marketing departments the next morning. I mean, we call it corporate panic, but what does that actually look like?
It looks like frantic emails. It looks like agents calling their regional director screaming, "Why aren't we on this?" Because suddenly they realized they had a massive blind spot.
It's the ultimate FOMO. Fear of missing out.
It's worse than FOMO. It's financial trauma. It's basically PTSD.
PTSD from what?
The Naomi Osaka effect.
Ah, okay. Let's connect this. Because Naomi Osaka is a massive global star now. Highest paid female athlete in the world for a while.
She is now. But remember, when Osaka first broke through, the industry was a bit slow on the uptake. She was this biracial superstar bridging the U.S. and Japanese markets, two huge economies.
Right.
And because sponsors hesitated initially or didn't lock her down long-term early enough, the price to sign her later just skyrocketed.
They had to pay the we were late tax.
Massive premiums. So when executives saw the Eala numbers, the engagement, the regional fervor, they saw Osaka 2.0. There was allegedly a leaked email from a senior marketing director at a major brand that simply said, "We can't afford to be late on this again."
Because we aren't talking about selling a few T-shirts here.
No. We are talking about opening up retail expansion in economies that are growing faster than the West. Brand loyalty in Southeast Asia is incredibly high. You are the brand that backs their hero. You aren't just selling a racket, you're selling a relationship for life.
Do we have hard numbers on that? Is it actually translating to sales, or is it just internet clicks?
Wilson is the canary in the coal mine here. They sponsor her rackets. Reports suggest sales of her specific model have tripled in the Philippines since her rise began.
Tripled. That is incredible.
That is the kind of ROI that gets you a promotion. But here is where the story gets really interesting. Because if you're Alex Eala's team, you know you have the leverage now. You're not begging for a contract anymore.
Right, you're holding the keys to the kingdom. You can sit back and let them outbid each other.
And they are using that leverage. This has sparked a really fascinating debate in the industry about opportunity versus exploitation. Eala's team is reportedly negotiating very hard. They don't want her to be a diversity checkbox.
What does that mean in a contract? Don't just put me on a billboard during Asian American Heritage Month.
Exactly that. They want a partnership that respects her identity and invests in the region. But this brings out the cynics. When the big money started circling, social media got nasty.
Oh, I'm sure.
You had people asking, where were you when she was grinding in the qualifiers? Why do you care now?
Which is a fair question. It feels incredibly opportunistic. Oh, now that you're famous, we love you.
It is opportunistic. That's capitalism. I mean, the defenders of the industry would say, we aren't charities. We invest where there is a return. She proved the return, so now the capital flows.
It's not personal, it's business.
But Eala's team is doing something really clever to shift that dynamic. They aren't just taking the check and buying a nice car. They are hinting at launching their own foundation to build infrastructure.
Building courts.
Building courts, funding academies in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
This is a power move. Instead of relying on Western sponsors to save the region, they're looking to build the pipeline themselves. If Eala builds the infrastructure, she stops being just an athlete. She becomes an institution.
That's how you future-proof your legacy. That is brilliant. But look, we've talked about the suits, we've talked about the data, we have to talk about the tennis. Because there was a moment at the Australian Open where this digital hype met physical reality, and it was messy.
Messy is polite? It was dangerous.
Set the scene for us.
Australian Open, Melbourne. It's hot. Eala is scheduled on Court 3, or one of the smaller outer courts. Again, the organizers underestimated the draw. They looked at the ranking, not the cultural impact.
They trusted the old map.
Correct. So you have a court that seats maybe a few hundred people. And thousands of fans show up. It was a crush.
Wow.
People were climbing fences, pushing past security, chanting. The tournament staff was completely overwhelmed. It was a logistical nightmare.
And usually when this happens, the elite players get annoyed. They hate the noise. They hate the distraction.
Right. But then a journalist asks Novak Djokovic about it.
The Jumeirah.
The greatest of all time. He's seen everything. The journalist asks him about the overcrowding, the commercialization, basically asking, is the tournament losing its soul? Is this chaos bad for the sport?
And what did Novak say?
He flipped the script entirely. He called the chaos a good problem to have. But then, and this is the moment that froze the room, he explicitly named Alex Eala.
He dropped the name.
He did. And he didn't just say she's a good player. He called her a superstar. He compared the modern facilities to 2003, when he was coming up from Serbia, using borrowed gyms, fighting for every inch. His point was, the sport grows in the messy places. The chaos around Eala isn't a failure. It's proof of life. It's the heartbeat of the sport shifting to a new place.
That word superstar coming from him, that's not just a compliment, that's a coronation.
It's validation. It tells the sponsors, the tournament directors, and the fans, this is real. It shifts the narrative from internet hype to inevitability. When Novak Djokovic says you're a superstar, the predictive models have to update.
So we have the corporate panic, we have the validation from the legend. What does the ripple effect actually look like on the ground? Is this actually changing anything for kids in the Philippines, or is it just a nice story for us to talk about?
It's tangible. We're seeing what we call the Tiger Woods effect, or maybe more accurately, the Williams sisters effect.
Access.
Access and belief. Tennis clubs in the Philippines are reporting record enrollment. Kids who never touched a racket, who only ever played basketball or volleyball, are signing up.
Because they can see it now.
Representation is a powerful drug. Seeing someone who looks like you, who comes from where you come from, doing the impossible, that creates a connection no amount of slick advertising can replicate.
But I have to play the skeptic for a second. There's a risk here. She is still a teenager.
A massive risk.
If she has a bad season, if she gets injured, does the circus pack up and leave?
That is the shadow side of this industry. It is fickle. The pressure on her shoulders is immense. She isn't just playing for herself. She's playing for a country, for a region, for the ROI of these sponsors. Every loss is scrutinized.
And if she stumbles, the industry might just say, well, we tried the Philippines, didn't work, back to the algorithm.
That is the fear. But there is a counterforce now. The Asian federations are waking up. They're pressuring the WTA for more events in the region. Fans are demanding broadcasters show matches that don't feature Western stars. Eala has kicked open a door, and now a whole region is trying to walk through it before it closes.
It feels like a tipping point. Like the toothpaste isn't going back in the tube.
I don't think it can. Eala made the invisible visible. She exposed the gap. Even if, God forbid, she retires tomorrow, the market has been revealed. The sponsors now know there are 600 million customers waiting. They can't unknow that.
The glitch revealed the system's flaw.
Precisely. It showed that the model was incomplete.
So for the listener who maybe doesn't watch tennis, why does this matter to them? Why should they care about a tiebreak in Melbourne?
Because this isn't about tennis. This is a story about global economics and cultural power. It shows that the default settings of global industries, which usually center on the West, on the US, on Europe, are becoming obsolete.
The center of gravity is shifting.
The future of growth in sports, in tech, in business is in these emerging markets. If your predictive model ignores 600 million people because they don't fit your avatar, you're going to lose. You do so at your own peril.
That is a powerful place to land. The mistake wasn't the player. The mistake was the map everyone was using.
The map is being redrawn in real time.
So here is the final thought I want to leave you with today. We know the sponsors are circling. We know the money is there. But I want you to watch the systems. Is the tennis establishment, the scheduling, the broadcasting, the court assignments actually ready to support a global superstar from a non-traditional nation? Or will they continue to treat her like an anomaly, act surprised when the crowds show up, and schedule her on the backcourts?
That is the real test. The money moves fast. The institutions move slow.
Don't just watch the scoreboard. Watch the logos on the shirts and watch which court they put her on. That will tell you the real story of the sport's future. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.
News Talk on Samar News, your go-to podcast for the latest headlines and in-depth discussions. Join us as we unravel the stories that matter most, bringing you insightful commentary and expert analysis. Tune in for thought-provoking conversations that spark dialogue and inspire action. Stay connected with the news that shapes our world, only on News Talk on Samar News.